Let's talk Jinx, a weekly Jinx video we do every Wednesday about anything to do with Jinx, as well as this video acting as a weekly discussion thread on the Jinx subreddit, our League of Jinx. Make sure to go check that out. Patch 10.16, changes to Jinx, other AD carries that might affect Jinx in their matchups, and then maybe some AD carry tier list talk at the end of the video. Let's jump into the video immediately with the fact that there actually was a Jinx change this patch. We've gone so many episodes without saying that, it feels almost foreign to finally say. We've talked about this change though. It is the R bonus damage is basically now uncapped. It was a bug fix that overall now acts as a just basically a buff overall. And for Jinx's lane matchups, as well as just any point in the game, the damage is uncapped basically against all targets. So monsters and minions, even if you do that whole little trick where you're in lane, you fire the ult down lane to hit a champion to clear the minion wave so they can stop taking the tower while you're not there. It can feel a little bit of a waste using it that way, but sometimes you can save a tower that way. And then of course against champions, epic monsters, and stuff like that. Mind you though, the only way the ultimate can damage certain things like Dragon and Baron, they're not uncapping the ability for this thing to hit them, they're uncapping like the damage on it. So to be able to hurt Baron and hurt Dragon, it's only by the AoE damage. So you have to hit a champion near it for the AoE damage to be able to take those things. So just keep that in mind, because there was that conversation like the last video about the change itself. Some people were like, you know, getting stolen away from them by a Jinx ultimate. It's like, if you could find ways then to make sure you're not close enough that the AoE can take it, that's how you would counter that basically at this point. But I like it because I've been playing Nexus Blitz, and I've been feeling like I've been struggling on that, A, because I'm just rusty and bad, but B, it just felt like Jinx felt off specifically out of all the champions I was trying to play on that mode. That's one issue. The other issue when it comes to Nexus Blitz, at least, is it also seems like maybe her weapon swapping is bugged as well. I'm gonna have to keep investigating that, and maybe we'll make a video on that later. But anyways, Ashe is also getting some changes. The Q bonus attack speed has been decreased later. Like, picture this if you will. Someone whose auto attacks also slow you somewhat, that has rapid fire ability. That seems like it would eventually be a bit too strong if Ashe is ever in a strong position. Not saying the champion's OP or busted or anything, but that mechanic is something they probably have to worry about, especially in pro play. And it looks like because Ashe has now picked up speed in pro play, they're finally going to be addressing Ashe, period. In which case, the bonus attack speed's going down from 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60 to 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40. So you'll be losing actually 20% attack speed at max rank if you max Q. I think in lane phase, people tend to max W, or at least they will now because of the poke damage, but if you do max Q, you're going to have 20% less attack speed, to the point that you might as well only max Q to about 3, or like level 3, because that's what your max rank was going to be anyways, and then you can kind of go into the W, or even the E if you want like the cross map looking for enemy jungler stuff as well. In the Jinx Ashe matchup, what this means is Jinx is now back to having a bit of an edge in an all-out trade with her minigun versus Ashe's arrows. The difference though is that because Ashe's arrows do slow, it will mess with your orb walking, which will mess with Jinx's attack speed, which can mean you don't automatically win those trades, by the way. It means you can lose those trades because you can't kite. I'm saying if you guys are doing like a stand and deliver like kind of situation where you're not moving, you're just gunning each other down and see who goes down first, then of course Jinx will probably have a little bit of an advantage because you're not moving. You don't have to worry about orb walking and kiting. But if you're kiting, be aware you're going to still be slow. It's just going to be less attack speed. Maybe you won't die as fast, something like that. Bard is a support that's getting some changes, where the base health is being decreased and the W maximum heal is being decreased. So if you're playing with this champion, they won't be able to heal you for as much, and their base health, they're going to be a bit squishier. But if you're playing against this champion and you've always kind of worried about going all in on this champion without like grievous wounds or anything like that, you can a little bit more now, because they're going to be a little bit more squishier, and when you bully them or their AD carry in lane, they won't be healing for as much. That's kind of important, so there you go. Jhin, a fellow August champion, the passive final crit shot damage against structures is being increased. So what this actually looks like is basically, of course, against towers and things like that, that fourth shot critical damage against things like that will be increased. Like when he first came out, like Kalista, was a whole, why do you need smite? When you have Jhin, you can just fourth shot the dragon if it's low enough and stuff like that. This won't affect against champions, so the Jhin Jinx matchup actually does not change here, because Jinx is not a structure, unless of course people are saying she's like so weak or something she might as well just be a tower. She's not there yet though. So the fourth shot won't be doing more damage against you, but it will be doing more damage against your tower. So you want to make sure, if anything, well, the one thing that might change about this matchup is your rotations and your back timings. That's something we don't really talk about too much on here, because I feel like it varies from person to person, matchup to matchup, right? There's some times where a back timing might be at this point, but because like the enemy jungler has been ganking like crazy, or your jungler's been ganking like crazy and getting you kills, that might switch up when you back and stuff like that, which is why we don't get too much into that. But if there was one thing that could possibly affect this matchup, it could be that, because while you're backing, if he gets alone time with your tower, that force shot will hurt your tower a little bit more, or give him more gold from plates if he tends to get those plates, stuff like that. So you might want to make sure your wave is set out enough that when you're backing, he won't be able to just shove the wave into your tower before you get back to tower to try and force him off of it again. Otherwise, the matchup stays relatively the same. Karma, I think Karma's changes more for lane Karma, but we will briefly talk about it. The Q cost is now flat, cooldown increased. So basically the cost for it is going to be 65 mana at all ranks, which is a nerf early but a buff late. And the cooldown looks like it's going up across the board as well, and it will be higher even at the later ranks. So it looks like, again, I think it's more of a lane matchup thing, but it does mean when Karma's combining her Q and her flame with like her ultimate and stuff like that, it's going to be a little bit more cost in the lane phase, and it's also going to be on a higher cooldown in all phases of the game. So if you feel yourself getting poked by that ability constantly playing against Karma support, well, that's going to be a little bit less of a thing. Only a little bit less of a thing. This is going from like 7 seconds to like 12 seconds or like 13. It's only going from like 7 seconds, for example, to 9 seconds. It's an extra 2 seconds across the lane phase that will add up, I guess. But don't be like, oh, I can play this easy mode now. I can just dodge and weave and it'll be fine because it's not going to be back for like 17,000 years. No, 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 no. Don't do that. Lucian. The Q damage is being increased and the R total shots fired are being increased. Remember a while ago when they did that buff to Lucian where they gave him the range back on his Q? This is old Lucian basically slowly making his way back into the game. That's what this basically is. So all I can say about this matchup is when he's trying to poke you through minions with a Q, that's gonna hurt when you're Jinx. The R total shots fired? Well, if you already feel like Lucian can basically one-shot you with the full like duration of his ultimate, he's definitely gonna do it now even more so. And if he couldn't, but you barely got away with your life, well, now he's just gonna just straight up take you from 100 to 0. And we're back to those days, it looks like, with Lucian. Oh no. When you're Jinx, this could be definitely problematic. I did a for fun video way back at the beginning of my YouTube. That was Markiplier Plays League of Legends, and I took some of his funniest audio clips and put it with some of my gameplay clips. And there was one clip in particular that was kind of just like this, where it was just him getting gunned down by Lucian on Jinx, and it was yeah, it's gonna be that, but worse.
Oh, am I boned? 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 I'm boned, aren't I? I might be boned. I might be boned. I might be boned. I'm probably boned. Hi. I'm boned. I'm so boned. I'm boned. He's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me.
So just, yeah, if you see Lucian, just pray. Unless you're not a praying person, then pray anyways, because you don't, at this point, dang. Alright, cool. I'm being pessimistic. Maybe it's not gonna be that bad. Misfortune. Base attack speed increased. So basically her attack damage is going from 50 to 52. They kind of, I think if I remember correctly, they've been nerfing Misfortune a little bit with the movement speed and stuff like that, and now it might be a little bit too much of a nerf, so they want to give her a bit more bullying potential back, because she is supposed to be a lane bully at the end of the day, and maybe she's not doing so well right now. So with, again, actually kind of like Lucian, if you're near minions, she might be throwing that Q out more often, but her base attack damage is also just going to be higher, so she's going to be last hitting a little bit better, and so that might be an issue for items and things like that too. Keep that in mind. Morgana, the Q cooldown is being decreased. Dark bindings more often, less time in the game. I can only simplify that as that, because I'm realizing there's like 25 different champion changes on this list, and a lot of them might apply to the bottom lane, so I need to make sure I get through them in a reasonable time so that you can do other things with your day instead of sitting here in the, oh hey, the dark binding finally wore off, we can move on to the next champion. Nautilus, the W shield's being decreased. Even though he's a tankier, possibly support in this regard, he might be able to be bullied a bit more now if it's decreased, especially at the earlier levels. It looks like at later levels, it'll still get up to like 85, not the 100 that it is, but in early levels, instead of being 60, it's going to be 45. That 15 might be all the difference you need in lane phase to make a Nautilus at least regret trying to hook you, missing, but then popping his shield and being fine as he walks back away. Rakan forever. Our bonus movement speed actually is being increased, so it engages basically. The quickness, as the name of the ability quite literally is, that speed is going up from 50% to 75%. So even out of laning phase, but in laning phase, like with Rakan or without or against the Rakan, that's going to be something you're going to have to react to a lot more faster now, either following up with your Rakan or going against Rakan and trying to flash away and stuff like that. That will be potentially pretty bad, so you need to make sure you keep an eye on how that's going. Tristana, the Yoral Jinx. E now deals 1% increased damage per 3% critical strike chance. Oh no, Tristana back in pro play. That's all I hear when I see this change. I'm being pessimistic once again. With the Jinx Tristana matchup, it basically means the more crit chance she has in lane phase, especially if she goes for a Zeal item or the cloak and the Infinity Edge and stuff like that, the E will deal 1% more damage per 3% crit chance. So by the time she gets like 20% crit chance from like an Infinity Edge, it's 1% increased damage per 3% crit chance. So an extra, what, 6, almost a full 7% extra damage on the E now, because it's almost 21%. That's gonna be actually pretty significant as her attack speed also increases just from like buying an Infinity Edge, which has a BF sword in it. She's gonna be deadlier with her all-in combo too, and she tries to rocket jump in and stuff like that. You might have to give up some lane pressure to Tristana as the lane phase goes on if you're not bullying her heavily before she starts building crit. Keep that in mind. Alright, finally, we've actually completed the champion changes, and that was actually a full, basically, almost 10 minutes just of that by itself, and because I don't want this to be too long, I'm going to let the video end right there. In terms of a tier list though, what champions after reading those do you think will shoot up a bit, right? Like I was pessimistic about Lucian, for example. It's kind of my job just to keep you guys worried about champions like that popping up out of nowhere, but the Jinx change, right? Like what do you think of the Jinx change? You think Lucian will be super powerful? Is the Tristana change crazy, or is my math actually horrible on that? Comment with that kind of stuff in the comment section down below. But thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, the actual subscribe button. But I don't know which video will be next, because I can have a lot of kinks. So until next time, take care. ggGetJinxed. Thank you for watching, and enjoy pizza responsibly.